You're about to experience an awesome panel. This is the Cash is Queen session. My name is, yes, that deserves a round of applause. Come on, we need some energy. Good, great.
Let's get started. My name is CeCe Olisa. I am co-founder of theCURVYcon. I started off as a lifestyle blogger making content based on my personal motto, which is don't wait on your wait to live the life you want. I recently did a Tedx called How to Build Self-Confidence, and at the end of this, I'll probably tell you if you want to watch it where you can check that out. I am honored to be on stage with these three amazing women. We are about to talk money bag, money bag, money bag. So, I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves, and I would love for you guys to tell me your name, what you do, and why you do what you do, why you started, what got you started. So, I'll let you guys go in whichever order you would like.
Okay, I'll get started. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, cool. Hi, my name is Sahara Rose. I'm the best-selling author of Eat, Feel Fresh, An Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda, as well as the host of the Highest Self podcast. Why I do what I do is I probably just couldn't imagine life without it. I create the kind of content that I need, and when I need something, I start to research it, and as I start to research it, I'm like, holy shit, I have so much to share, and I start sharing it, and it just keeps growing and growing, and I allow my content to continue changing according to what is true to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Kelly LeVeque. I'm a holistic nutritionist and author of the book Body Love. I've always loved health and nutrition, and I actually had an 8-year career in cancer and genetics that inspired me to go back to school and start helping people prevent disease from a lifestyle perspective instead.
Hi, my name is Porsche Thomas. I'm a vegan chef, and I'm the creator of the Porsche Cooks Vegan, Simply Vegan online course, as well as Porsche Cooks Vegan Food for Your Soul cookbook. And the upcoming New Soul Kitchen on a new channel being launched by TV1 called Clio TV. And I became a vegan chef because I became lactose intolerant, and so I wanted to figure out how to make the foods that I love. And I got into vegan education because I found that there was a lot of mystery behind this diet that really wasn't that complicated, and I wanted to be able to fill a void and educate people on how to easily go vegan.
Hand clap for them. So I love coaching and mentoring my audience. I started off doing lifestyle stuff, and then I moved into my dream apartment a few months ago, and my audience has been like, okay, how are you affording this? Like, what's going on? Like, you're using the internet to pay your bills, what's up? So what I've been talking to my audience a lot about is a system that I call purpose, platform, profit. So I know we're here to talk about money, and profit is very important, but I feel like we would be doing you guys a disservice if we didn't talk about the foundation of our businesses, which for me is definitely purpose. Would you guys agree with that? All right, so let's jump in. We can move the next slide to say purpose so we know what topic we are on. You guys are probably used to panels where we talk and talk and talk, and you have a question, then you forget, and then at the end you don't know what it is. We're gonna pause in between. So if you guys have questions along the way, we will make pit stops for you guys to check in with us. Does that sound good? So if you think of questions along the way, I will take pauses for us to discuss them. So when it comes to purpose, ladies, I love a big why. Like, what is the reason why you do what you do? I can say for me, like, don't wait on your wait is the reason why. Like, that message changed my life when it hit me. Like, oh, I don't do anything because I feel like I'm too fat to do it, and that's not okay. Like, I should be doing the things I love no matter what, right? And so plus size representation in fitness, in wellness, in fashion, that's very important to me. That is a big part of my big why. Thank you. So ladies, tell me about you guys. What's your big why? What is the purpose of your business?
I'll start. So for me, I found, coming from cancer and genetics, I was reading a lot of studies on biology, and I understood the science, and I wanted it to make it easy for people. I felt like a lot of my friends were jumping on quick fix diets and fads and trying to lose 5 pounds, and then they'd gain it back and they'd be frustrated. And what I saw was it was causing a lack of confidence because like deprivation is always a binge in the bank. And we are looking to have a lifestyle, and so I wanted to make the science easy for people, the science of blood sugar, the science of inflammation, and allowing people and giving them not only permission, but expecting them to eat to feel full and satisfied, and giving them that, I guess, the opportunity to really take care of themselves. And so I found that the science was easy for me, and something that I could easily share with my friends to get rid of food anxiety and food drama, and everything that's associated with that, being female and having these high expectations, these unattainable expectations that we put on ourselves. So that was always my purpose, and I felt as though I had the ability to kind of make the science accessible for people, and it's sort of my calling and my passion, and I love it. So I had to start sharing.
I love that. Do you feel like there's a reflection in your personal life as well? Like, do you feel like you were doing it anyway for friends? Like
that's like why I started my job.
Yeah.
Like, my friends would say, oh, well, I want to lose 5 pounds, or I have acne, or I feel bloated, or my joints hurt, whatever the case may be. I dive into the research to try and figure out how to help them. And so I was doing it for free. I was doing it because I loved it, and I never thought it could be a career. And I mean, look at the internet today. Look at influencers. Look at consultants. Like, anything can be a career if you're passionate enough about it.
Yeah. And for those of you who are wondering, like, how do I figure out what my purpose is? I feel like one of the main keys is, like, what do your friends ask you about? Like, if your friends always ask you, like, girl, where should I go on vacation? Maybe there's something about vacation that, like, you know what I mean? Like, every friend is the one for something, you know? So I feel like that's always a nice indicator if you're kind of wondering about that. Purpose, talk to me.
You know, I find myself like at Whole Foods shopping. I have twin children, and I'm shopping for groceries, and I always find people in front of the vegan section kind of just staring, and they're lost, and they're so confused. And I would like enjoy going up to strangers. I love talking to strangers, and like, helping them. What are you trying to make? What do you need it for? Like, And I found that I really loved like giving this information, and I found that a lot of my following was like, I have a huge African American following online, and I would get so many questions, and people would say things like, certain things are not available to me in my community, and I wanted to really like give the information in a way that was really streamlined to people that like really wanted and needed it, because I knew that in my community, certain diseases were more prevalent, and I knew that this diet was something that could help with that. And so it was really important for me to like make the information simple and like to get it out there. And so for me, that was my purpose. It was just to help people that, it's something that's not that hard. But like for some reason, it's, there's so much mystique around it. And I just really wanted to get that information out there.
So I feel the same way about when it comes to like plus size fitness stuff. Like I just did a whole like review on like how to do Soul Cycle when you're plus size, right? And all the emails that I'm getting like, oh, I was so scared to go, but then you did this video and like now I'm not scared anymore. So what made you, like if you're saying that Black people in general are a little bit like fearful or whatever of the whole like vegan thing or like vegetables in general, I hope not, but like what made you have the courage to like dive in? Like what made it not confusing for you?
I was always someone who loved to cook. And I became lactose intolerant, so for me it was a health thing, and I wanted to make the foods that I loved. And I got so much confident by becoming like a friend's personal chef and really catering to like really big dinners, and I make like soul food. So I only make the foods that I love. I make vegan soul food, like lasagna, mac and cheese, collard greens, like stuff like that. Like Thanksgiving is my thing. And people could not believe this stuff was vegan. So for me, it was like, in the Black community, they're like, well, I don't want to eat vegan because I want my food to taste good. Right. And my whole thing is, it will. You still can, know. And so that's what gave me the confidence to go out there. It's because I knew 100% you could still eat the foods that you love. I'll tell you how.
I feel like sometimes it's easy when things come easily to us, it's easy to discount them as like gifts.
Oh my God, yes.
Like you have this gift that you can just like do,
and
right?
Like, whatever, I'm just cooking. Like, I had to have people like in my ear, like, girl, you need to like do something with this. And then a friend had to actually just hire me to be his chef and like cook for big dinners, like big dinner parties.
So again, with like how to figure out your purpose, it's like, what are people asking you to do? What are you naturally good at that you're ignoring that someone else is like, oh my gosh, I would kill to be able to cook a vegetable, and you're like, what? So the little things in your life that you're looking over could be the magic that unlocks your profit and your purpose and your platform. Does that make sense, you guys? Are you with me? Talk to me. Purpose.
So it started with me similarly with health problems. Sound okay? Yeah.
Are you hearing my girls? I know I'm speaking right into the...
No.
Can we get a little hotter on all the... Thank you.
Okay, so Yeah, it started with me when I was about 21 years old. I got really interested in health and wellness because my own health problems started to show up. So it started with digestive problems, then hormonal problems, and anxiety and insomnia and all of these different things. And I went to so many different doctors, from gastroenterologists to endocrinologists, like everything. And they just kept prescribing me more medication. And the thing is, no one would ask. No, like the gastroenterologist, not like, oh, how are you sleeping? How are you feeling? How are your hormones? It was all so separated. And I knew intuitively, like there had to be a reason behind all of this. This all had to be interconnected, but no one was showing me how. And that's how I discovered Ayurveda, which is the world's oldest health system. But I would look for modern Ayurveda books, videos, and there was like nothing. And, you know, I was obviously really young, going through my own health problems, not in perfect health, but something within me told me if I'm not going to be the one who does this, then how do I expect other people to find this information too? And I had to go through so much fear. I mean, until like the book was even published of like, who am I? Who am I? Like, who am I? I'm not perfect. So I can't share other people how to fix their lives. And then the fact that I did, and the fact that I'm open about, you know, being young and having all these issues and it not stopping me now has inspired so many people, more than just the Ayurveda and the health problems, but to really look at your mess and how that is related to your message.
Wow. Yes. So just so you guys know, like we don't rehearse this conversation. Like this is all like, it's just happening before our very eyes. But I find it fascinating that like you all, in my opinion, have like completely different paths to your purpose. Like we talked about the friend thing. We talked about natural gifts that you might overlook. I think something that's really hard is like some of the painful things that we have going on. We all maybe have health issues that we wish we didn't have. And perhaps you going through that, now you're helping like so many people. So when we're looking to find our purpose, it might be the things that we're overlooking because we just don't think it's a big deal, or the things that we're so frustrated with that we don't want to be dealing with, but maybe there's something that comes through that.
And embarrassed about too.
Yes, yes. Health embarrassed. Who here gets like health embarrassed? I do. Like I had a big health scare like a year and a half ago, and like I almost didn't go to the hospital because I was just embarrassed. I was just like, I'm a big girl. They're gonna tell me I'm fat. Like I don't want to deal with it. But like I saved my own life by going to the hospital like that. So like we can feel unwell and not want to talk about it. We can feel unwell and not want to share with people what's going on. Chronic illness, chronic pain. Like there are so many people silently dealing with that stuff. And we start to speak up, then comes, and we can change it to the next slide, perhaps a platform. Right? So how do we get into our platforms? I know for me, I started off as an anonymous blogger. Like I was that embarrassed, not necessarily about health stuff, but I was just like insecure about my body. And I wanted to write about being a plus size girl in New York City, but like I didn't want to put my face to that. I wasn't interested, right? But I found through writing that that was a platform that really worked for me. And over time it evolved to like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. But I found for me like storytelling is actually my platform. Like I find a lot of peace after being vulnerable, and like people saying like, oh my gosh, I agree, or the same thing happened to me, or thank you for sharing that. Like it frees me of like certain shackles in my life, and then it helps other people too, right? So it's giving, but I get back so much more. How did you guys stumble into your platforms, and what do you feel like is your primary platform? 2 questions.
You know, okay, so while I was pregnant, I posted, this is like, I'll get to the point.
We love a story. Let's do it.
I posted a photo of myself at 31 weeks pregnant with twins, and the photo went viral. And it like doubled or tripled my followers. Wow. And like increased my engagement tenfold. Wow. Because I guess I was bullied. You know, people made fun of, you know, my big black belly, and it became this whole big thing, and I was interviewed by all of these outlets. Wow. And it became like this whole thing. And then I went into labor. 2 weeks later I had these twins, and all these people were just on this journey with me. And then now my twins like are on TV. And so I have these people that just like have been on the journey from when my belly was made fun of to now. I use that and my cute babies to kind of lure people in and start talking about the vegan things. I totally put my kids.
Did you really just say lure? You lure them in? You're sneaky?
I'm like, oh, well, while you're here, let's talk about this vegan thing. And here's a cute picture of my babies. And what I started doing is I started to like offer like free advice in exchange for you getting on my email list. And so that's kind of like, so I definitely use my Instagram and my children. To like really reach out to people, and it's really worked for me very well.
Quick pause. You just casually said that your kids are on TV. Are they on any show that we would have heard of? Or?
Blackish?
Oh, okay. Just, you know. She wasn't going to tell you, but I was going to tell you.
Yeah, they've been on it since they were 6 months old. They're 2 now. 2 boys.
All right, so you lured them in with the cute babies, and then you...
Look, even babies will eat it. It's so good. You should get my cookbook.
So I feel like for me, it was like, so my actual like original content was all dating content. So I was like plus size Carrie Bradshaw in New York. So just like roll with that for a second. And then like, you know, then a couple years later, I'm like, here's a plus size workout video. What do you guys think? And they're like, oh my gosh, right? So the thing that builds your platform may not be the thing that takes you all the way, right? People want to know about something, but sometimes they also want to know about something else. They just don't know. You don't. Do you see what I'm saying?
I want to know about you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair.
And we're multifaceted, and we think like, oh, our followers are only into vegan food or only into workout. Like, guess what? They have lives too. Mm-hmm. Like, they also care about working out and all of these elements. So if you show up as a whole person, like, oh, this is the whole picture, and then they can pick and choose. And no, I started as like a raw vegan blogger, and then I was like, oh shit, this made me really fucking sick. Mm-hmm. And now I just discovered Ayurveda, and I was like, I was like in the closet, like, fuck, I eat cooked food, can't let anyone know. Then I started to share about that, and then I was like, wait, the body doesn't really matter. It's all about the soul. And then I just became like super spiritual and highest self podcast. And I feel like I have different people who meet me at different places. Like, we can talk about business and abundance, or we can talk about spirit guides. Yes. And there may be that person who meets you in all those places, but there may be different people that vibe with you in different ways, and that's okay too.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. I'm a little bit different. So I had my career in cancer, and I actually side hustled Be Well by Kelly for 3 years. So what was nice for me, especially because we're on the panel about making money, is it was never about making money. Mm-hmm. It was about spending my weekends, my lunch break, and nights meeting up with people. Yes. And just getting into it for an hour about how they're feeling. Yes. And how I could help them, and researching for them and giving them tips and tricks and a plan to feel their best. Yes. So what's interesting there is it was, you know, I think I was charging people in the beginning like $50 an hour, and for some people doing it for free. I helped about half a dozen people for free just for their testimonial. Yes. In the beginning. Yes. And then the platform became something. Mm-hmm. Where people were like, well, you should just share a tip on Instagram. Guys, if you go back to the beginning of my Instagram, filters, I was a real big fan. Filters, I did not know how to take a picture of my food. It wasn't, you know, I wasn't an influencer. And I'm sure all of my friends were like, oh, Kelly has a fun new hobby. Isn't that cute, right? But if you don't act like it's a hobby, or you're just passionate about it and you do it every single day, no matter what the outside world is thinking of you, because you love it, it will eventually be your full-time job.
Yeah. How many of you guys have a side hustle?
Woo!
Yes.
What's that side hustle? How
many of you guys is your side hustle why you're here today, to try to figure out that side hustle? Okay, yep. How many of you want to go full-time? Okay. How many of you don't want to go full-time? You love your health care. I get it. I understand.
Okay.
All right. So before we switch gears and go straight into the profit stuff, I'm going to take a pause. We've talked a lot about some, I feel like, kind of deep and personal things, but I'm always down to go deeper. So if anybody has questions when it comes to purpose and platform, if anybody has questions on how to get their child on Blackish, if anyone has questions, oh no? Any questions, we're gonna take a quick pause right now. I see 2 hands, white sweater, yes.
I have a question about the piece of you blogging anonymously about things that you go or report, but didn't want to be connected to you particularly.
Mm-hmm.
How do you did everyone hear that, or should I?
You were saying you were asking about me blogging anonymously? Go ahead.
Yes, so like, how do you blog anonymously? Like, how is that? Because I feel like I have things I want to share that I don't necessarily want to be connected to me, but I feel are important and have a strong message. I don't know how to.
So what she's asking is, how do you blog anonymously? She has a strong message that she wants to share, but she's not sure that she wants to attach her identity to that message just yet, right? Okay, so first off, I will say the fact that I got popular blogging anonymously is the strangest thing that ever happened. It should not have worked. Like, it shouldn't have worked. And it's not something that I would ever advise someone to do per se, but I will tell you why it worked for me. I was blogging anonymously because I was writing so much vulnerable stuff. Like, I wasn't holding anything back. Like, I was talking about like insecurities on dates. I was talking about boob sweat. I was talking about like anything, right? So the vulnerability, I think, made up for my lack of identity. Like, people really felt they knew me because they really did. And the stuff I was sharing there, I wasn't sharing in my personal life. So like, my real friends had no idea that I was like insecure about being plus size. They had no idea like anything. Like, I changed all the names, like, no pictures. It was a pair of pink shoes. Like, my old school fans, they'll be like, I've been with you since the pink shoes. That's when I know, like, they didn't know I was black, nothing. Like, I just never thought to say it, but like, I asked for hair suggestions, and the responses I got back, I was like, oh, they don't know I'm black. Like, oh, like, I was just like, I didn't know. So what I will say is, I think the most important thing, people like to connect with other people. I don't care if it's Instagram. I don't care if it's in this room right now. Like, I'm getting so much good energy right now from these women, and I'm like relishing in it. So the whole anonymous thing, like, you're gonna have to overcompensate so much. I think that people want to hear from you, and they want to hear your story. And I think like, you're gonna have to work through that personally. Like, my blog saved me. All the things that I was afraid of are the things that I'm successful with now. Like, Shakespeare says, like, my only love came from my only hate. Like, I hated my body, but my body is the reason I don't have to work at Starbucks. You know what I mean? Like, so think about that. I think I would do some deep work within you about because whatever you have to say is worth it. That's why you're in this room right now. One more? I saw another hand up. Yeah, cute button, I like it.
Okay, so I launched a lifestyle program about a year ago, and I just wanted to know if you had any tips on like how to stay motivated. Like, it's my passion and it's what I want to do as a career, but it's still very small. And the girls that I work with motivate me every single day. But I just wanted to know if you had any tips on just growing, getting yourself out there, just really like getting your name out and your brand out.
Tips to stay motivated, tips to get your name and your brand out there.
I mean, I would say for me personally, when I started my side hustle, I reached out to a number of blogs, like Click Media, She Knows, you name it. I was like, I will write for free. Here are 10 things that I would like to talk about. I pitched articles. I would spend nights writing those articles and getting those up. And my exchange was not to be paid. It was to actually just hyperlink my website and my Instagram into those articles and ask for a post. And I was so small that, in the beginning they were like, no, we're not gonna post you on our Instagram. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So, you just have to go for it. But think about playing in another pond too. One of the things that's interesting for me is there's a lot of people in the health and wellness space, and people are like, oh, health and wellness influencers, or they're all friends, or all of that. I don't know much about fashion. I rented this dress from Rent the Runway. So for me, like going to Click Media, WhoWhatWear, or working, maybe reaching out to the Lauren Conrad girls or whatever, playing in other ponds is, you'd be surprised. People are like, oh, that's interesting, because you're not sharing the same content and you're not going head to head against people that are trying to share the same information as you. That would be something I would say, because if you're willing to work for free, eventually you'll be paid, I think is what, that worked for me, but.
It sounds like it's time to talk profit. Let's get into it. So let's switch up these slides. Let's talk about it beginning to end, because I feel like we're probably all in different spaces. How many of you guys have never been paid for any of your content ever, like never made a dime? Raise them high, I'm proud, because you're still in here. I love it. How many of you are making money, a little bit of money from your, okay? How many of you are making like a lot of money and are doing it full time and all that? Okay. So we got a mixed bag in here. So let's. So let's start from the top. When we first started off, how were we making money? I hear you talking about a lot of strategies. I believe in work smarter, not harder, right? So I loved what you were saying about like the fact that you would even ask to be posted on the Instagram when you were first starting out.
Brave.
Yeah, go ahead. You can speak to that.
Yeah, no, that's super brave to even ask to be posted on Instagram. I think most of us were so afraid of asking, and maybe you asked like 20 people and like one said yes, but then that showed like, yes, it's possible for me to write an article in exchange for an Instagram post. I've never even asked that, so like that inspired me. But yeah, in terms of how I started making money, for me it started with the blogs, and the blogs were ads, right? But now the CPM, what they call it, is so low that you can't really make money as a blogger, like really, even if you're getting a lot of traffic. So then I tried to do a lot of brand sponsorship stuff, but then I found that I honestly just don't want my personal Instagram to be one with a lot of ads. Some people are really good at that. They're more lifestyle blogging. I prefer to do more content-oriented stuff. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna monetize this and not be working with the brands on my Instagram? And that's how I got into doing online programs. So now I have over 10 different online programs, and I create what's pretty much called a funnel. So the bottom of the funnel is your free content. It's what you're giving every single day, and then maybe you'll do something like a free guide or a free webinar or something that's like a little bit more that you're collecting their email. From the email, then you give them such amazing content, and you're like, hey, if you want more of this, here's a $20 option, or something like under $100 that's like kind of a no-brainer. If they like what you're doing, they're gonna do it. And don't go into a $1,000 coaching program. So then from there, so let's say I have one called Abundance Mindset Masterclass. It's $20. And then on the webinar, there's an option for you to do this 6-week program with me. That's like a live program, and it's like a group thing, and we're learning about that. Then from there, I have like another thing that's a $2,000 program. So, you know, let's say 10 out of the thousands of people signed up for that $2,000 program. Well, that actually could end up paying you more than everyone that signed up for the $20 one. And then that's when ads get in. I know, I'm like, ugh. But a lot of people like Ty Lopez and these like online marketers that you see, like, have you guys seen him on YouTube? Yeah, he's like, this is my Lamborghini, like that guy. But anyways, he actually actively loses about $60,000 a month on his YouTube ads, but he's making the money back in his back-end programs. So I think a lot of people, they're like so afraid of like instantly being profitable. And we were talking about this even with books. A lot of things are like your business card, you know, your books, your program, that entry level thing. You may break even. You may actually lose money off of ads and stuff like that, but you're bringing them into your system. And maybe they don't buy from you now, they buy from you later. But the fact that you've shown up for them in a deeper way than just a social media post is like, okay, I see this girl, and when I'm ready, I'm gonna sign up.
I love everything you just said. I want to make sure for those of us who haven't done even $1 worth of business yet, that we don't feel like, whew, like that just went like that. So I want to start and ask one more question, like ground floor question. Yeah. Can you guys tell me, and it can be just one of you, because I want to make sure we get to their questions. What is something you did for free that ultimately got you paid? Because if these girls haven't gotten $1 yet, what is a free transaction you've done, whether it be with a brand, another influencer, like something where you're like, that was worth no money because I got paid exponentially more some way, other way?
So I was asked to work an event for free, to be an installation at a blogger event at the Lombardi House. And if you guys are influencers, then you've been invited to an event at the Lombardi House. It's, I was supposed to sit on a little furniture vignette and answer questions for anyone coming through about their health. And I was right next to the food and catering, and so people automatically assumed, because I was sitting down trying, like, there wasn't good signage, waiting for people to come sit to like talk to them about their health. No one sat down. So then the head of the event was like, stand up, stand by catering. So I stood by catering, and everyone's like, oh, this catering's good. What company do you work for? I'm like, I'm not with a caterer. It's fine. The end of the event, but I was doing it because it was the beginning of my career, and I was doing things for free. It ended up being the launch of Target, or the launch of Honest products at Target, and Jessica Alba was there. So I was sitting there, and her makeup artist sat down after she had done all of her press, and she's like, oh, I need food. Can I sit in your furniture vignette? I'm like, yes, first person all day. Take a seat. How can I help you? Well, she had inflammation of her hands from all of her makeup. Ended up going to her house, having a real session with her, fixed her inflammation, figured out it was nightshades. Her inflammation went away in 2 weeks, and I had an email introduction to Jessica Alba. So you say yes to things for free in the beginning because you're putting yourself out into the universe and saying, I want to do this.
So for my beginners, for my people, and I see your hand, there's going to be things that come into your world once you start doing this work that are not money, but they are valuable. So when I was in the fashion game, the first thing that started was like free clothes. Like free dresses came. Okay, free dresses, fine. I had a corporate job. That became my like my clothing account. Like I stopped spending money on clothes because I was getting free. So I saved money. So I didn't get money yet, but I was saving money. Does that make sense? So when brands are starting to offer you like free things, take those opportunities and treat them seriously. Look at how your favorite big Instagrammers or bloggers do their content. Take that free product, whatever it is they send you, whether it's a book or whatever, blow it out as if they just paid you $10,000 to talk about it. And then go on like Bitly, take Bitly links of that product and track how many people click on it. So you can go back to that brand and say, hey, you guys sent me this book for free on Ayurveda. I just talked about it. I put it on my blog. I got 50 clicks that went your way. I'd love to work with you guys again. Do that a couple times with different brands and then start to ask, do you have a budget for our collaboration? So it's a stair-step process. Start going to events for free. I just told a story the other day. I'm just barreling through this free stuff so we can get to the more elevated stuff. I just told a story I was working with JCPenney for a really long time. I used to go to free events with them. Last year I had like 4 contracts with them. They invited me to a free event. They invited me to an event that I would have gone to for free. It was a workout. But I was like, do you have a budget? They did. And they paid me like my full blog rate, like the rate for a full blog post just to go work out for an hour, which I would have done anyway. That is something in the beginning, the event and the relationship would have been enough, but over time, you can start to flip your relationships into profit. I see a question right here in the blazer. Yes, go.
So I wanted to ask, in a world that's so saturated, like the influencer marketing world, hashtag Fire Festival showed us that. I would love to know, I think nobody talks about the hard skills that are really important. So something that you talked about, like bit links. But like people, if you've never heard of that, you
Right.
need to learn how to do that.
Right.
So I would love to know, what are your top tips when you're working your 9 to 5, but to learn hard skills? So like YouTube editing is really hard. Editing a video is really hard. Or creating your blog means creating a website. How many developers are here and have never created a website? Right. It's like learning domain.
Right.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the hard skills,
Yeah.
the real hard skills. So I would love to know, what are some of those top hard skills that helped you in your business that are really vital to either what you're doing now or really helped you grow?
And I would say, if you can tie it to a check, like if you can say, this skill got me paid in this way, that would be amazing. So I think for you, like your courses get you paid. For me, when I was starting out, data and collecting like all the analytics on anything I do for a brand, I could then take that data to the brand and ultimately come back and get paid, right? So what are skill sets that you guys built that got you paid? I'll say another one while you guys think. Good content.
Yeah.
Content is like, cash is king, content is king. So like, even though ads are passive, 1 penny here, 1 penny there, if your YouTube video is that good, the ads are gonna add up and people are gonna make bigger spends against your content if they see that your accounts are doing well. Go ahead.
I would say one of the things that's really important, so believe it or not, I had a custom site, WordPress site built, and I spent the money right away. It wasn't mobily optimized correctly. I ended up building a Squarespace over a weekend. My Squarespace site is still the site. You go to my website, it's still the site. It's totally doable. So if you don't want to put money into that and you want to put a Squarespace up, that's great. Another great option is Canva. So I don't know how to use Photoshop or any of those, but Canva for me has really worked out to build like PDF smoothie booklets that people can download. And so that booklet I'm giving away for free, then they're putting in their email, I'm getting their email, and then all of a sudden my list has grown. Your list grows and you do an affiliate link with a product, and then you're getting paid.
So I'm gonna say like the bullet points and then we'll do you next if you're ready. So I would say like ads is a profit stream, a money stream. Affiliates are a money stream. Courses are a money stream. Sponsored content, collaborations with brands when they pay you directly to do that, that's a money stream. And I'll also add a 5th, which is like special projects. I'm co-founder of theCURVYcon. Like Target doesn't sponsor CeCe, but Target sponsors CURVYcon. You know what I mean? So like you might build something that's bigger than yourself that ultimately will flip back and become a revenue stream for you. What else you got for us? We were talking about, is there a tip or a technique that you use that makes you money?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm like confused about the question.
It's okay. So we were all talking about like little things we do that ultimately like get us paid. It's okay if you don't have one, but if you want to talk about a money stream that you use that you feel really strong about.
I also have an online course, and it's funny because you talk about like these skills and these tools, and you were talking about how you built like your funnels. And it's funny because like I also have a course, but like I even got confused. So I definitely, I find that like I don't understand a lot of that stuff just like but I still somehow have made it work.
Yes.
You know, as far as the website goes, I just went and created my own on Wix. I love like these systems where it kind of like, you just plug in your information and you can like create something really cool. So that's definitely something that I look for. You know, as far as like creating a course, I use like Teachable. That's a great option, you know, for going and just kind of plugging in your information and they kind of like set it all up for you. And they have amazing customer service that answers any questions because, you know, it does get confusing. And I have 2 kids. I don't have the time to like really sit there and like learn the ins and outs. I just want to like kind of get it up and running. And so, you know, for me, that's worked, you know.
Are you guys interested in courses? Is that something? I hear courses coming up a lot. Who's down for courses? Raise your hand just so I know. Okay, cool. I see another question. Blue dress, go for it. Hi, you look amazing. Great. Me? Thanks. You can give it to me after when we have more time. Thank you.
I have a question. My name is Letitia Action Jackson. I'm a fitness Olympian and globally recognized women's health and wellness expert. I've written 10 books. I wrote 7 of them in 1 year. And I also have an online course with 28 lessons. Great problem to have. I have tons of content. I have tons of amazing books, but I let my passion lead, and now I'm backing up and saying, okay, slow down. How are you going to market these books, and how are you going to create a strategy? I partner with Athleta, and we're going to do a huge women's empowerment event around fitness. But my question to you is, you have a book, I have 10 of them. If you were underneath all of this amazing stuff, I feel smothered at times. How would you back yourself out of it, out of the forest, to see the trees and start with a strategy?
Yeah, I'm actually just like you. I have probably 5 more books I've written that I haven't released because of that exact reason. There's no point in putting out all of this content when you're not going to market it. You know, I think of Eckhart Tolle, right? We've all heard of The Power of Now. That could have been his only book, but we've all heard of it. So I would rather do that than have like a bunch of books that no one's read. So I keep reminding myself, because I could totally just go down the rabbit hole and just write and never talk to anyone again. So I would step back, like, what's your strongest piece of content? Maybe it's a compilation of all 10 of these books, putting it together into one really strong book that's really gonna help people, really going to almost be like entry level and guide them to where you are now. And then I would look at what are the different angles. For me, podcasting was the major thing that shifted things. Having my voice be involved, so people not only just saw a picture of me or read an article, but actually heard me, created such a deeper relationship with my community that I never could have before. Another thing I love about podcasting, I don't have to get ready. So I can like go on a walk and come back and be like, hey guys, I just had an idea. Whereas like if I just had to do a whole video thing, I have to do this, that would never happen. So you have to know, some people love getting, like, I feel like you'd be really great on video because you're so cute and you love getting dressed up. Like I'm just not, I'm like an ogre during the day. So podcasting really works for me. Yeah. But I think having something and then really running with it, really being consistent with it, you don't have to do it all, but I would take one social media platform, YouTube, podcast, or even your Instagram, though I feel like Instagram is kind of on its like going downside, something with your voice. I feel like for you, especially as an athlete, video would be awesome. And keep putting out content, Then at the end be like, hey, if you want to learn more, here's my book, here's my guide. Just link to one thing, make it super simple.
Yeah, I would just second that. The first book that I wrote is called Body Love, and my second book, Body Love Every Day, was supposed to come out this month. And it's still selling, and so my editor actually pushed it to January of 2020 because she wants the book to sell. Like she's like, you're getting more press, you can still, it's evergreen content, you can still continue to talk about it, you can still get people on board, and then when we go to sell the second book, it's actually gonna make a splash. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, that she has this really big book or a best-selling book, she must have made a lot of money on that. And I'll tell you, like, books are resume builders. They're not the place where you make money. And my agent told me, and there's a number of ways that you can publish a book. Self-publish, you can go with a proposal to an agent, get an agent, you can go directly to a publishing house. I went to an agent without a proposal and was like, hey, this is my whole thing. And we built the proposal to sell specifically to HarperCollins. Went to a bidding war with other publishing houses, but we were specific and strategic of where we wanted to go because my agent knew that would make the biggest splash. So I think trusting people, like if you have 10 books and like Sahara was saying, if you can pull your 10 best chapters from those and then get people on board with that book and then buying your other 9 books or the all 10, the whole compilation, then you're making something off of that and bringing an audience in.
And stretch your creativity on the content you make every day. Make completely different content that can all cycle back to that book. You said that you let your passion like run away, so it sounds like you are very creative. So find 25 different ways to build a blog post where your book is the answer at the end. You know what I mean? More questions, hands up. Yellow sweater, let's do it.
So I'm a young blogger and I started a YouTube channel, it's about cooking. I got approached by a spice company to do 10 videos for them. I created everything, I learned everything. I went and learned Adobe, everything. After Effects, I just sat there for hours. I have 2 kids, one has autism, so I was very overwhelmed, but I figured it out and didn't release the content until I felt very comfortable with it. So now I'm in this place where I'm very, very stressed out about whether I do this partnership or not. Because I'm so young, is that going to be very limiting for me?
From my standpoint, when it came to brands, I didn't do any brand partnerships, but I didn't do brand partnerships because I didn't do them because it didn't align with me. I mean, I think if it's an organic spice company and you believe in the product and use it in your kitchen all the day, every day, then absolutely. And you can pick those. I would say for me, when I sat down, I now have a manager, and one of the things we do every year is we do a bucket list of our favorite brands. And I only have 2, right now I have 2 year-long sponsorships with brands. And that would be your end goal, right? Is that not that you're doing a one-off picture here for $100, or when you grow your brand, $500, or whatever, people get into the thousands and thousands and whatnot. But I think pick your top brands and have those reach brands and say, these are the brands that I want to work with. These are the brands that represent who I am, because you're going to dilute your feed if it's all ads and it doesn't look good. So I would say if this is a brand that you would use anyways, then absolutely build that relationship and have that profitability support you to go create content that isn't brand sponsored.
Yes. And they're also allowing me to decide compensation, which is very uncomfortable because I don't know what do I charge them. I know that I can tell you how much time it takes me to shoot everything, edit everything, but then I'm young, they're a little over 6 months old, but they're going to Whole Foods and things like that, so I'm going to be gaining something from that.
In the sake of time, I'm going to jump in on this one because I have a very specific answer for you, and it's for everybody. We should all do this. There's Life Hackers has an exercise where you can determine the value of an hour of your time. It is all arbitrary questions. It has nothing to do with your value, how young you are, nothing. It's what you think an hour of your time is, and you've already calculated how long it took you to make that content. So once you've done that exercise and it comes out that an hour of your time is whatever, then use that math towards the hours. That's the minimum you should be paid. Pitch them at double, knowing that you'll take the smaller. Give them a range. So like the bottom of whatever you come up with is the bottom of the range, and then like a higher. So say like typically for something like this, I would charge between X and Y. Let me know what you can do. Yeah? Okay. Okay. And just in general with valuing the hour of your time as women, I'm just going to say this. The first time I did the exercise, I valued an hour of my time at $50 an hour. It's just what it was. And that is what released me to keep my housekeeper, because I had all this guilt as a woman about paying someone to clean my house while I was blogging, but she's $25 an hour. So I could charge myself $50 an hour to wash my laundry, or have her do it, and I can take that time and make $500, pay her, empower her to do whatever she wants to do, make my money as well. So use that exercise across the board to determine your worth. One more in the back, dark hair, black jacket, I see you. Yes. Go ahead and just yell.
Hey, what up? So my name is Erica. I was saying Kelly actually went to one of your branded activations that you did with your long-term sponsor. Thank you.
Yay.
And congrats. But you were talking about how you have 2 brands you continue to have these longitudinal partnerships with, which I think is what every blogger dreams of, is having these like long-term relationships. How do you jump in from doing I'm doing like 15 different branded activations to 25 Instagram activations a year to having these longitudinal relationships? How do you bring it up? Do they bring it up? How do you move forward with something like that? Because I think that's kind of all of our dream, is to only have like a few relationships that pay us a bunch of money.
Yeah. I mean, remember that I came at this a different way, right? So my paycheck comes from sitting down with clients and talking about nutrition, right? So that I wasn't relying on brands to be my paycheck, which frees up, it freed me up to say like, no, I don't want to work with you, or that's not on brand. And there were some really cool brands where I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. But then I'd look them up in EWG and I'd be like, it has endocrine disruptors and there's like known carcinogens in that lotion and I'm not going to work with that brand. That's a really pretty paycheck and that sucks to give that up. But I actually have a canned email that says when a brand reaches out, grams of sugar, net carbohydrates, specific products, specific oils. If you fall under all of this criteria, then I'm not going to work with you. So I kind of weed out the people, and then I say, if you do meet my criteria for working together as a brand, then be like, it's in the canned email that I'm only willing to work with companies at 6 months or longer relationships. That weeds out a lot of people really fast. A lot of people want to come to you and work with you for 2 posts, 3 months. We have this campaign. Well, they all have their campaigns and they have budgets for campaigns, and that's fine, but they're going to have campaigns all year long. And if they really want to work with you, they should want to work with you for the long term. And all it is, being a female, is asking for it. Asking to be paid, asking for it to be longer, and showing them. Come back with business, like the analytics, and say, these are how many people are swiping up, or these are how many people are clicking onto your brand's Instagram or buying your product from my site. The minute you have data and you ask for it, you'd be surprised.
And go at it with percentages. Even though your numbers might be small, if you have 100 people and 50 click, that's 50% conversion, right? Yeah. That's a big deal, right? So don't be afraid of the numbers, like look at it in percentages. I think what we're gonna do, because we're running out of time, if you ladies don't mind, maybe we'll hang out in the corner. If you guys have additional questions, we can hang out for a little while. If y'all are busy, I'm putting you on the spot. But I will hang out in the corner for a little while. Happy to answer more questions, and thank you guys for an amazing panel.